Right, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a review of the last video on Trump's crazy warning about NATO, which eventually turned out like Trump was right after all. You know, countries who need their borders and their countries defended actually do need to pay for their own defense. And then we're going to be segueing into the mythical Hobbit people. Last week we talked about the moon-eyed people. We're drawing a connecting tissue from the legends of the Native American Indians over to the Hawaiians, and then eventually we're going to wind up in China, where this so-called myth or conspiracy theory uh, actually continues. So there's this thing about conspiracy theories eventually turning out to be actually true. So from the crazy NATO warnings to mythical Hobbit people, we're going to look at how often citizens are told to laugh at certain claims until the evidence is undeniable. So again, send us your comments in the chat. We're going to be responding to your comments to the stories that we're covering. We're going to be reviewing this video. If you haven't watched the video yet, go over to the channel and watch the new video. Remember that we're doing video on demand content, and then we're reacting to the videos and giving some deeper context during the live streams. And if you have any story that is developing that you want us to talk about, remember the chat drives the story. If you guys don't say anything, the live stream ends in 40 minutes. But if you guys jump into the chat and really go hard on the conversation, we could be here for 2 hours. Who knows? So let's make that happen, people. All right, so let's start with the very first video. On Thursday, we released the video where Trump essentially over 40 years ago talked about NATO taking the American people for a ride and essentially forcing the Americans, forcing America to pay for its own defense. Now, let's watch this opening sequence and then we'll dive into the topic. If you've watched the video, this is where we will jump into the comments you made about the video. We have some comments lined up, and then we also have some commentary that we're going to be covering. Let's get into it.
I've always felt that NATO and West Germany, I mean, we have all those troops over there. I feel that they should pay their way.
If you look at the payments that we're making to NATO, they're totally disproportionate with everybody else's, and it's ridiculous.
That was 1987. The same man, same warning, same alliance. If citizens of the United States saw this clip today, a lot of the media narrative collapses. All right, so I'm going to pause it there. If you want to watch the whole video, okay, you need to go into the channel. Now, there are several things that we're going to be talking about, and you guys left some comments in the chat. I'm going to read some of those comments, and maybe I'll just show them on the screen because it's a lot easier to do that here. All right, so and I want to say thank you to the 2,300 of you who watched this video, and the several dozen of you who left a comment. All right. Now I'm going to sort this from the newest to the oldest. Now, hold on. So in every video, we have people who show that the case of TDS is essentially incurable. We have this person here who says, why this scum does not pay the other nations who lost soldiers in Iraq or Afghanistan. And this person essentially doesn't know how the world works. All right. It's not the job of the United States to pay other countries for going to war for their own interests. People just find ways to want to insult Trump on a video that clearly shows that NATO has essentially decided that the American taxpayer is responsible for its own defense. Patricia, what do you have to say about this insane comment?
After the billions and billions we've spent on European security, with missile systems and everything, and soldiers' boots on the ground in several bases around Europe. They wanted us to pay for other soldiers in
Yeah,
Iraq. Yeah, right.
yeah.
When they won't even pay for their own security.
The shocking thing that I've, while I was doing research for this video, and guys, if you like the new video format that we're putting out, please head on over to the video, hit the like button, please, and also on this live stream, hit the like button. One of the things that I'm trying to do is to stay away from outrage. Whenever you're outraged, you're not thinking straight, and essentially, these people want you in that posture where you're not thinking straight. You're just upset. You're angry all the time. They want you to be angry at Trump for no reason. Okay, the sun rises, it's his fault, and you should be angry with him about over it. The sun sets, it's because of Trump. You should be upset over it. The insanity that we're seeing in Minneapolis, it is well, and Minneapolis has been taken over by the insane. All right, the crazy people have taken over the asylum. We have
Yeah.
people rioting over law enforcement that has been going on for years. The next video that we're going to be releasing on Monday, hopefully I should be able to make it, essentially showcases how media covered ICE operations under Obama and talks about how they cover it today. It's totally different. Under Obama, you had US citizens being arrested, detained by ICE. Nobody rioted. Nobody had a protest.
Mm.
It was seen as a bureaucratic mistake, and everybody moved on. But with all of the rage baiting that's going on, okay, so look at me saying that I want to tone down on the outrage, and I'm getting outraged. Okay, I'm so sorry, but like it's hard not to be outraged that these people essentially expect you and I to be so stupid that we can't tell what's right in front of our eyes.
Well, it was funny because Nick Shirley said that um, Walsh had been working on the fraud in Minnesota since 2019, but it took him to expose it.
That makes no sense.
And he is now receiving all kinds of threats. There's been threats made against his family, against his mother and his sister, and threats against him.
Yeah.
And it's all coming from these crazies on the left.
Yeah, and these people are being enabled by the media. The media is evil. Okay, the media is evil. Hashtag the media is evil, and also the leadership of the Democrat Party, Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer. Look, the list goes on. They are all backing the insanity happening in Minneapolis right now. And then you can trace it all the way back to them. That's what's going on. And then you also have the leadership of Minnesota. You have Mayor Fry with a straight face, saying the things that he's saying. So there's no way anyone can convince me that what the thing going on in Minnesota isn't engineered. The outrage about ICE enforcement isn't engineered. The new video will drop on Monday, and then you guys would tell me what you think about that video when it does arrive. Okay, so let's take several comments. This other comment says Americans want out of NATO. Never should have been in all that BS. Smart move. Let's pay for an organization that every so-called ally votes against our best needs or for theirs. And when they get into trouble, we have to babysit the whole damn world. No more.
Yeah. But we need help. Where are they at?
They are nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
In fact,
They don't want to get involved. They don't want us using our troops from those bases in their countries.
uh-huh,
Uh, Turkey was supposed to be an ally. If Turkey had allowed a strike force to leave Turkey and fly into Iraq, we would have never invaded that
yeah,
that country.
yeah,
And it was forced. The hand was forced to go in on the southern border of Iraq to go to the northern part of Iraq that they wanted to hit. That was where the terrorist training camp was on the border of Iraq and Iran in the northern part of Iraq.
yeah,
And it would have been an easy hit from Turkey, where we had um, a military base with the equipment there, the fighters and the bombers to hit that training camp.
yeah,
But oh no, the Turks didn't want that done because they were scared of riling up the Kurds,
yeah.
who didn't like Al Qaeda anyway. So it was just crazy. And that's why when they went into Iraq, they went around Baghdad to the north. They didn't go into Baghdad, they went around it.
Hmm.
If you go back and look at the history of that invasion, they did not enter Baghdad. They went around it at a very fast clip to the north.
Hmm.
And it was to get to that training base.
So we essentially have an ally that maybe quadruple the cost of
Mhm.
dealing with Iraq because they refused to cooperate with the United
And
States
the
when they
same
needed to.
thing is happening now, that these countries said, well, we don't want you using the people out of your bases in our country to go into Iran. And that's why Trump has moved military personnel from Qatar into Iraq, along with some European um, troops out of Germany and different places in Europe
Mm.
to Iraq. They're
So
setting it up.
so
And Trump is going into Iran. There's no
oh
doubt about it.
yeah. Oh, and guys, let us know in the chat how you feel about Trump going into Iran. And tell us what you feel about these so-called allies who only do things that suit their own best interest. And the moment when the United States decides that they're going to do something for its own interest, Trump is toxic. Trump is destroying the world. Trump is about to start World War III. Like they fearmonger and try to terrorize the American people because that's what it is whenever they use these statements. He's a danger to democracy. He's alienating America. He's separating America from its allies. It's the allies that are doing that themselves, all by themselves. If
Well,
America,
the funny part is when we went into Iraq, other countries did come on board.
yeah,
And the same thing's going to happen in Iran, because the British and the French and the Italians and Germany and all them want to do business with Iran to get the oil. So they're not going to be left out here on the sidelines and Iran looking at them saying, "What'd you do for us?"
yeah. All right, so let's take one more chat. We want to cover this story for only about 20 minutes, and then we move over into the story of the day. We're still extending our conversation around the Moonite people. And of course, we do need your comments in the chat to kind of drive the conversation. If you're not dropping any comments, this is going to be a very short stream. This is going to be a very short live stream. So that's fine. It's a Saturday. Maybe there's stuff going on. You have company. It's okay. All right. It's meant to be a laid back hangout with friends. So this other conversation in the chat says, let me go back to this window so I don't lose it. It says, thank you by Enzo Canizo 8744 says, thank you. Unfortunately, after 5 minutes, people forget, and then the manipulators take over and create in people's minds a truth which is false. Of course, he's telling us that, look, even when you're presented with facts, we're doing extra work to find the facts and then to present them to you and ask you, okay, here are the facts. Here's what they want us to believe. You decide. And so Enzo essentially is telling us that there are a lot of people out there, and I hope you are not one of them, you watching. I hope you're not one of them who watches these videos that we're producing or other videos out there on the internet. I mean, heck, there are videos from the 1980s, 1990s, from the early 2000s of people like Trump saying some of the things that he's doing now. It shouldn't surprise anyone. You see people like Bill Clinton saying the same things that Trump is saying now. Barack Obama ran ICE exactly the same way Trump is running ICE now. The only difference is that Barack Obama doesn't have to send ICE into sanctuary cities that have been weaponized against his administration. He didn't have to deal with that. He didn't have to deal with a media that consistently called him a racist and a Nazi, called ICE the Gestapo, when they went in to enforce federal immigration law.
In fact, CNN had a reporter that rode along with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And witnessed them arresting an American citizen. And they had very nice things to say about ICE. Oh, it's an honest mistake. And it was cleared up. And actually, the ICE officers were so professional. And the same CNN pictures ICE like it's intentional. They're targeting black and brown people. They're racist. This is Trump's attempt to make America white again. It's outrageous that they think that you and I are that stupid. And I don't know if you're happy with that picture, that they're sitting down in their high towers, in their air-conditioned studios or offices, laughing at you and I, saying, ho, 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 well, we'll tell them anything and they'll believe it without doing any research themselves. I don't know if you're happy about that or if you're comfortable with that picture. I'm not. So,
well, there are people out there that are uneducated enough to believe it.
Yes. I wouldn't say uneducated, but brainwashed.
Well, maybe uninformed.
I have a hard time believing that with all of the resources you have at your disposal, you have ChatGPT, for crying out loud. You have Grok. You know, there are times when I'm writing a script and then I come up with some information and I go to ChatGPT or Grok to say, did this actually happen? We've done that live on one of these live streams where someone mentioned the fact that Noriega was not arrested with his wife, and we had to fact check it with AI. Why won't people like that simply do the work? I have people sending me videos, and I know that these videos are from an echo chamber where they tell people what they want to hear.
That's why I thought Morado had made a deal with Trump to get out of Venezuela.
I agree. I think so too.
Because they did not take Noriega's wife with him. He was taken by himself.
Yeah. Now, if you're watching, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. we're changing gears right now. Now, none of you has sent any comments about what else you want us to look into. Like I said, the state of Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, is essentially has been taken over by the insane. I saw a video several days ago where uh, criminals, and I'll call them criminals. Okay, some people say that they're protesters. These are criminals. They broke into a federal vehicle.
It was an
Took
FBI vehicle. It wasn't even a nice vehicle.
It was an FBI vehicle.
Yeah.
They stole government documents. You guys go on about Trump, taking documents into Mar-a-Lago that he wasn't authorized to take. Nobody's saying anything about these criminals who broke into a federal vehicle, took documents, federal documents, stole federal documents, and then one of those criminals took a rifle from the trunk, and
A
there's no
locked box.
outrage.
Yeah, they busted a locked box open.
Yeah,
The rifle.
and they were and to whenever you see people committing crimes and they're live streaming it, it tells you that the government of that city, of that state, has enabled these people. They believe that the government and the city has their back. That's why they did what they did. They were live streaming themselves committing crimes, and they were not covering their faces.
Mm-mm.
That
They
tells
thought they
you,
were protected. They thought nothing bad had happened to them.
yeah.
Then they get arrested, and this time, each one of them that was involved in that are probably looking at 10 to 15 years at a federal penitentiary.
And that is not lawfare. That is not lawfare. It's called consequences.
Yep.
All right, it's called consequences. Now, guys, so like, share this video, and leave a comment. We want to have a conversation around this. Madison from Kick, hey, I'm going to just say hi because there's no real comment there, but I'm just going to say hi. I have a comment from Mad. All right, Madison, we're doing great. Keep the comments coming, but we need to be on top of the topic. Okay. So thank you for asking how we're doing with. Thank you for watching. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um. Where are we now? We're 22 minutes in. All right. So we're going to be shifting over to the other segment that we always do on Saturdays, where we talk about ancient civilizations, myths and legends that have either been proven or disproven, and what you think about it. And today we're continuing our segment on. Madison says, "Okay, enjoy your." Are you saying that you're enjoying our conversation, Madison? We're curious, okay? Inquiring minds want to know. Patricia and I love having these conversations. You guys, maybe someday we're going to live stream she and I just having a conversation, all right? Because occasionally, all right. So let me introduce Patricia. If you guys are watching for the first time, Patricia is ex-military. She worked in the Air Force, and she's retired, of course, and she has a lot of knowledge on historical content and stuff that's connected to today's news. The channel was originally driven by historical content, and I love diving into history and trying to connect it to what's going on today. So we work well together. So occasionally we call, not occasionally, almost every other day we talk, and it's almost like, hi, I'm just checking in on you. Then 2 hours later we're still talking, and she's telling me stuff that happened in the 60s, in the 70s. It's just a conversation. I call to say, how are you doing? So sometimes I'm like, I should literally just hit go live and just talk, and let's just talk. And she's just
That would be
dropping.
so fun.
It'll be crazy. Like, I just say, hey, Patricia, how are you doing? And then I just hit go live, and then everybody just watches us talk and hang out. We just enjoy having fun. So I hope you actually do enjoy our conversation. Now, Patricia is going to take over the conversation around the
Little people.
The little people. Okay. So we have a segment where we talk about fringe subjects. Okay. History, myths that are connected to history, and some evidence, and it's all out there. We talk about aliens, spaceships, ancient technology, alien technology, artifacts, and stuff. And this happens on Saturdays. So
Yes.
I'm going to switch over, and Patricia is going to take over. Oops, I meant to switch over to that video and I hit the wrong button. Yeah, so sorry about that. All right, so let me see if I can start that. Yeah. Okay, so the video is coming up now. Yeah. So, Patricia, take it away.
This, I believe, is on the Monahoney
The
Archipelago,
Menahune,
the
yeah,
Menahune
Menahune, yeah.
in Hawaii, and they were considered a mythical group of little people that came out at night, like the Moon-Eyed People, and built things.
All right,
They built
so can you give the audience a background on the little people topic that we've been covering for the last couple of weeks?
The Moon-Eyed People were in the Appalachian Mountains, and when the Cherokee arrived in that area, they ran in to the Moon-Eyed People, and they called them Moon-Eyed People because they were light-skinned, blue and real light blue-eyed,
Yeah.
and couldn't stand sunlight.
Mm,
So they lived in caves and came out at night and worked. And
mm,
they built walls in the Appalachian area. Um, on Fort Mountain is one of the areas where their handiwork is shown today.
mm,
But the Cherokee got into it with them and drove them off. And it was reported that they had moved out west. And out west, they were annihilated because they were mean to a Native American tribe.
yeah.
And then I came across the Menahune in Hawaii. And I
Mm.
went, say what? And then the down in Flores, Indonesia, they found the bones of the hobbits.
Oh, we're going to look at bones
Yeah.
today.
And then the Dropa in China, and then you've got the fairies and the leprechauns in Europe and everywhere. I mean, pygmies in Africa and in the Amazon area.
Yeah.
All these little people kept popping up, and I was going, "What's going on with these little people?"
Now,
So it's
guys,
amazing.
yeah, Patricia has notebooks full of this stuff.
Oh boy.
So we can talk till the cows come home on these topics. Okay, so because we're anyway, I don't want to ramble now. Madison says also, and Madison, as you can see, we take your chats very seriously. Also, you've got to add some panels to your channel though, as panels do help the followers know more about the streamers, as the panels do cover all the basic info about the streamers. Now, Madison, do you mean having like a nameplate underneath our faces? If that's what you mean, yeah, then we can try to make that happen. But let me know if that's
Well,
what you mean. So we can do that. It's just that we've been so focused on the story because the story essentially that we cover is the focus of everything that we do. Okay, so let's keep going. Oh, Canary King says greetings. Canary King is in the chat. So
greetings.
all right. So Madison, let us know if that's what you mean. Okay, so Patricia, keep going.
Yeah, and the Menahune in Hawaii were said to come out and work at night, and there's a lot of legends circulating in Hawaii about them. They were honored people by the Hawaiians.
Mm,
Um, they the only thing the Menahune required was that they not be observed while they were working, or they would
okay.
just quit.
Okay.
And there was a census in 1820 of Kauai, the island of Kauai, where I think it was 62 or 63 Menahune were listed. on a census.
Hmm.
So there was a group of people there that called themselves Menahune.
Hmm. So,
And
so it's not a conspiracy theory. There was
no,
there was
they were
documentation.
actually counted in a census.
Aha.
And
So
as far as Indonesia goes, we're going to show you the bones.
yeah. So you guys stick around. We're going to bring some of the receipts. We're going to look at some of these videos. We want to know your thoughts. And then again, the chat is still open. If there's something you want us to talk about, if you want to pivot over to Minnesota to look at the insane people, okay, let's do that. If there's something else that you want us to quickly talk about, let's know in the chat. But let's jump into the story now. Patricia, do you want us to go into the timestamp that you have on the video, or you want to start from the very beginning? Because I have the timestamps. I was wondering
Well,
if
if
you
we've got time, that whole video is really neat.
okay. The whole video is 43 minutes. So, and we're going to be running commentary, so we may not be able to go through the entire video.
Maybe
Um,
go to the timestamps and people can go back and watch the whole video if they want to.
All right. So so while we're going through this, if you want the link to the videos, we can drop that in the chat for you. So I'm going to start playing the video from the very beginning, and then I'll be dropping the link to the videos as we go along. Okay, let's go for it.
The history that we were all taught growing up is wrong. My name is Scott Wolter, and I'm a forensic geologist. There's a hidden history that nobody knows about. There are pyramids, chambers, tombs, inscriptions. They're all over the world. We're going to investigate these artifacts and sites, and we're going to get to the truth. Sometimes history isn't what we've been told. This is Scott Wolter. I'm on vacation this week. Leave a message and I'll call you when I get back. Look at Grant. He's fallen like 5 times.
It looks fun though.
I might go out there in a little bit and give it a try. I can do that.
Well, I don't know.
Excuse me, have you seen any of these?
Oh, no, I haven't. Jan, have you seen anything like that?
You know, I think I have. Over that way.
Oh,
Thanks, thank you.
see you guys. I think I'm gonna get another drink. You want something?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, I'll be back in a little bit. My family and I are on vacation at Aulani, a Disney resort and spa, one of our favorite places to visit. There's no better place to sit back and relax. But as my family would be the first to tell you, that can be hard for me to do. Even on vacation, it seems like I always come across some intriguing aspect of American history yet to be explored. Hi, could I get a lilikoi, please? Excuse me, do you know what the deal is with these little elves up here?
You know, those actually aren't elves. They're menehune. They're mythical little people that have known to inhabited the Hawaiian Islands before the Hawaiians arrived here.
Some kids came up and showed me a little interactive game with these elves or menehune.
The game is a menehune adventure trail for the kids or the family to go learn about the menehune throughout the resort. Back when the idea of Aulani started, when Disney started this idea, they said we wanted to tell the true stories of Hawaii. And so they went out and did years of research. And the story of the menehune was just so intriguing, we realized that it was something we wanted to make sure that our guests got to learn about.
So the menehune, this is mythical legend, right?
Well, the Hawaiian culture, you know, it's a complex culture. There was the gods, the ali'i, or the royalty, and then the maka'inana, the common people who worked the land and fished and farmed. And that's always one of the questions. So where did the menehune fit within those classes, and where do they fit within the Hawaiian culture?
But I just want to clarify one thing. You're saying that these menehune people, they're real?
You know, it's interesting. There's myths, there's legends, but there's a lot of physical structures that are attributed to the menehune.
Here in Hawaii?
Here in Hawaii, especially on the island of Kauai, but throughout the state. There's over 200 of these menehune around the resort. I'd be glad to show you around if you want to take a look.
Well, you have me intrigued, so I'd love to learn more.
This is actually part of the Menehune Adventure Trail, that game that we talked about. So as the story goes, the Menehune were little people, so maybe 2 or 3 feet tall. They lived up in the forest, up in the highlands, and they only came out at night, so you never saw them. They probably inhabited these islands before the Hawaiians arrived here.
What evidence do we have for this?
You look at some of the stories throughout the Pacific Islands, and places like Tahiti and the Marquesas have similar stories about an ancient civilization or an ancient people that were called the Manehune. So as you put those things together, you start to see there's some evidence. These myths may be true.
So really, you've got a couple of options. One is the Menehune could have been the first people to inhabit Hawaii, or they could be these little people that you've talked about. Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both, and there's one of them hiding in the bushes right there.
They're hiding everywhere, right?
Yeah, that's why they're here.
Todd, I'm a little skeptical. I'm a geologist, so I need some hard evidence.
There's a number of these ancient, very unique walls, temples, waterways, and the stories are that those were built by the Menehune.
Looking at these stone walls and structures, there's a possibility I could put a timeline on it. Maybe they do go back to the time of these Menehune people.
Now, the thing you got to remember also is that the Hawaiian culture was an oral culture, so there is no written history. You have to rely on those oral histories to tell you the.
All right, so we're 6 minutes in, and we're going to try to run some commentary now. YouTube's fair use policy, says we have to make the video transformative. So we've tried with the layout of the live stream, but we also have to give some commentary, and we've actually gone really far into this. Now, Patricia, we're going to, from this point on, jump to the timestamps. Okay, we're going to jump to the 10-minute timestamp, 13-minute timestamp, 18-minute timestamp, and then just cover some of those talking points. But from what we've heard so far, okay, just give us the lay of the land, and then we can keep going. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so based on what we've heard, just just give us the overview, and then we can jump into these timestamps.
Yeah, the history of the Menehune goes back to when even they believed that when the goddess Pella came to Hawaii, she brought the Menehune with her.
Mm.
And that was one theory. The other one is that they traveled there from Indonesia. We have a bipolar cat. But and they're really rich in history in Hawaii with these little people. And the king of Hawaii would have them build certain things for him, and they even built a fish pond for him, and they built irrigation canals, and that was the Menahui ditch that they talk about.
Mm.
And but the Hawaiians, there's one other video from Ancient Aliens that shows the Menehune in with on this one particular place in Hawaii that is sacred to the Hawaiian people,
Yeah.
and they've actually got carved wooden figures of the Menehune
Okay.
and that even. So it's pretty well throughout the Hawaiian Islands that they believe in this group of little people.
All right. Now, for people who are joining our live stream for the very first time, and they've watched us cover the news and history, and then now we're talking about little people.
Mhm.
The question I want, so I'm going to try to channel the audience right now. Why does this matter? Why does this matter to me? Why should I pay attention to this story about little people in Hawaii who are said to have been responsible for building some of the structures on the islands? Why does it matter?
Well, for one thing, we've all been told little legend things, and then later on found out in life whether they were true or not.
Yeah.
And I said this whole myth thing about the little people. There's too many of them around the world,
Mm.
and someone once told me that truth hides in myth. That there's always some truth involved in it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if the truth be known about it, going from the moon-eyed people to the Menehune, and then all at once the story pops up about bones,
Yeah.
skulls, and it was like, what?
So the next timestamp we're jumping to talks about the bones because myths don't usually come with evidence. It's mostly something someone said and they can't exactly prove it, but they believe that it's true. But when you begin to see hard evidence like bones, like we're about to watch here, it kind of begins to round out the conspiracy theory into something that's actually concrete.
Now,
And
the bones they discussed was not found in Hawaii.
mm,
They never found any bones, they say, in Hawaii. But
okay.
then I don't think they've ever looked for them.
Okay, so we're going to watch this. They're going to talk about skeletons, and then now one of the things that we mentioned last week is that the mention of little people in China includes a story about how they arrived in China, that they arrived in essentially spaceships. So
That crashed.
yes, that crashed. So that's actually why we're drawing this connecting tissue because you have the story in China that details these little people who arrived in spaceships that crashed, and then you begin to see how they emerge in different continents. And the question is, are these little people connected to this other story about them having come from um, a different uh,
Mhm.
part of the universe or something. So it's just a question. Now, are we saying that we believe? No, it's just a question. And when you have these questions, you begin to ask, okay, so what else connects this story to the world we live in today? Because we're getting close to Area 51. We're getting close to Area 51 and alien technology and the unexplained jump in technology from after the atom bomb was detonated in Japan to having B-52 bombers, that was a massive jump. Okay,
stealth
that
bombers and laptops and
yeah, that
desktops and cell phones.
that is 5,000 years. That is a jump in technology of over 5,000 years in
Yeah.
just 50 years.
Microwave ovens.
Yeah. So how did we go from the horse and buggy to B2 bombers in under 100 years? That's the question. So
That's mind blowing.
yeah. So sometimes when you ask these questions and you begin to hear about spacecraft, it almost begins to get plausible because
Would our government reverse engineer a spacecraft? You better believe they would.
so let me put it like this, okay? You have this kid in your class, okay? You have this kid in your class from grade 1 to grade 4, and he's at the bottom of the class. He barely passes his grades, and suddenly in grade 5, he's going toe to toe with the girl that's at the top of the class. Did something change? Did he suddenly get smarter? Did he start studying more? Or did he copy off somebody else's work? The question is, did the human race get smarter? Or did we copy off someone else's work? So it's a question. So we're going to play this about the skeletons, but let me see. I see a chat message. I want to see if it's something that we can. Madison. It's a question mark. I need you to kind of put up your question, okay? So let's talk about the skeletons.
What we do have here is a cast of one of the so-called hobbits' skulls from the island of Flores in Indonesia, and the scientific name for this specimen is Homo floresensis.
The term Homo floresiensis refers to an extinct group of people who were just 3.5 feet tall. They had big feet, just like the hobbits in Tolkien's famous novels, and have been found only in Indonesia, where their skeletal remains turned up in 2003. The question is, could they have left Indonesia and made it to Hawaii, where they came to be known by another name, the Menehune? That's a small skull. Is this a normal skull
Yes,
here? Okay.
right.
That's half the size.
It's 1/3 the size.
1/3.
Right here we have a sort of an artistic recreation of one of these floresensis specimens. And you can see that the arm actually extends quite well down the leg, perhaps
Almost
below
to the
knee.
knees. Well, how do we know that this isn't a juvenile or a child?
It's quite interesting you ask that because the original discoverer, his first impression was that it was in fact a child. But if you look at it more closely, compare it with that of a 6-year-old child, this is a child's skull and with baby teeth, 2 molars, canine, and 2 incisors. Adult teeth, you can see, are quite different. They have 3 molars and 2 premolars, which are completely lacking in the child's skull. So floresensis has the typical adult teeth, so no question that this is an adult.
So
So
there's no question about it. It's
yeah, in
very
terms-
obvious.
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about Indonesia here. We're talking about a race of small people. What would be the most recent time that we know they existed?
They were around up until 13 to 12,000 years ago, and then they disappear. Perhaps a volcanic eruption occurred and that wiped them out. And after that point in time, only anatomically modern humans like ourselves are found in that part of the world.
Okay.
That same eruption also wiped out quite a few other faunal animal species, including the dwarf elephant species, etc., that were also found on this island.
Small elephants?
Right.
Is there something going on here with this small group of creatures living on this island environment? What's happening there?
It's not unprecedented to have dwarfing of species when they're on perhaps a situation, an environment where there's less food, less resources. So the optimum to survive is to get smaller.
All right. So, but Patricia,
I have a hard time with that. They were on a small island, so they would be smaller people.
yeah,
And that's not true. The Hawaiians are not small people.
yeah.
The
So
Filipinos are not small people.
yeah. So there's this gap, and then these scientists try to speculate.
It's really something that hit me about it was that there's that 12,000 year marker.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back and you look at some of the other videos on ancient ruins, that 12,000 marker pops up.
Yeah.
And a lot of them. It pops up with the pyramids. It pops up with Gobekli Tepe.
It pops up with the Nephilim.
Yes. The Nephilim and the flood.
And the flood.
The flood and the Younger Dryas event. So there's a whole bunch of that keeps connecting back to that 12,000 marker. And I'm going, you got to start connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Something was going on back then that we lost the history to it.
Yeah. Now we go through this same problem when it comes to the coverage of the news today. Okay. Yes. Whenever people run into something they don't like, or it goes into a direction that they're not comfortable with, they want to shut their brains off to say, okay, I don't want to talk about it. I want to believe this thing that makes no sense. Okay, I want to believe this thing that the news media is telling me I have to believe. And when you're trying to present them with evidence, it's too painful to say, I've spent 14 years of my life believing this lie. I'm going to turn around and start believing the facts, seeing the facts and agreeing with the facts. So when it comes to conversations like this, and the first question that they asked about the skulls was a very valid question. Isn't this the question is, couldn't this be the skull of a child? And it was debunked scientifically because of the dentals. The dentals prove this is not a child. Beautiful. Now, when it comes to when did they disappear and how did they disappear, speculation steps in. And the question is, why are they speculating? There's another document somewhere that talks about the possible origin of these beings, and the timeline of their disappearance happens to align with another possible timeline where there was either a global flood and there were a few other things that took place, and it's well documented over here. Why don't you want to look at this documentation? So that's what tends to happen in scenarios like this. That's funny because we see it whenever we're talking about the news and politics, and then now we're seeing it here in science.
Yeah, an extinction event. And they really don't want to bring that up.
Yeah.
For some reason. And that, I believe, is because it totally destroys what came before. That scientists didn't believe humans had been on this earth that long.
Mm-hmm.
And when Gobekli Tepe showed up, and they dated it between 12 and 15,000 years old, everybody went, wait a minute. And that's when I realized that the ruins that they keep saying that were built by certain people, they don't know, because you can't carbon date stone, but you can carbon date anything you find around in that area that is of natural fibers or bones. You can carbon date those, and that's when when the realization hit me that was only carbonating the last people who were known to be there.
Yeah.
Not who built it. So that's when I got curious about, well, just how long have humans been around?
All right. So we have timestamps that point to the census, and we're almost at the hour mark, and we want to kind of accelerate this. So we have the census, and then we have a few shorts. So I want you to kind of guide us on what next to look at. Should we look at the census, or you want us to skip over to the shorts? And guys in the chat, whenever I watch shows like this, as you know, videos and shows like this, it is hard to put anything in the comments or in the chat, because sometimes there's no right question in your head, or there's no right answer, because we dive into the realm of speculation. What happened, what didn't happen, who was there, who wasn't there. This week we were talking, you and I were talking, and you told me that there was this record that you saw in a, I can't remember where it was, whether it was in Africa, where there was a footprint of a dinosaur side by side with the footprint of a human.
Yes.
So the prehistoric age actually isn't prehistoric.
The archaeologist Mary Leakey.
Yeah. So
Actually wrote a book about it.
So the accounts we've been told by scientists for decades that the dinosaurs died out, and that gave room for man to become the dominant species, wasn't true. They were contemporaries.
They were here all along.
Yeah. And then people ask all the time. Now I'm bringing up something that I've heard for years. If dinosaurs are real, then what happened to them? Some people say, well, they were killed in the flood. Well, there's another theory out there that they weren't killed in the flood, but that they were part of the animals on the ark. Like, there are conversations like that going on, and they're like, no, how could a huge animal like that fit into the ark? Well, they were the young animals. All the animals in the ark were not adult animals. They were all young animals, because you needed the space, and you needed a manageable population that you could feed and house and wouldn't destroy things. So it was the young animals that were actually brought onto the ark, not the old animals. So that's a conversation that's taking place. So I'm bringing this up because on this channel you're going to run into these roadblocks of, should I go ahead and think this way or that way based on the evidence? Okay, and that's one of the reasons why the channel is called Crossroads. You're presented with evidence, and then you make a decision which way to go. Okay, whether you're going to turn one way or the other. And now we're facing a decision here. We have bones, we have a history, we have things that these people built. Does it prove that they existed? The question is, does it prove they existed? Is it a yes or a no? And when you're presented with evidence that proves the existence of a group of beings that weren't exactly human, what does it tell you about the story that we've been told about the world? Does it?
Yeah.
It's just for you to use your head. Think for yourself.
That King Solomon had a ring that controlled what they called demons that came and built the temple for him. And these stories just keep boiling over. And I'm going, they were small statured people for the King Solomon to deal with, and they had special powers to build. And there's your little people coming back in there again. Them little people build a lot of things, but it's just amazing. And then there in Hawaii, they've still got part of a wall and the ditch and some fish ponds that the Menahui were supposed to have built.
Yeah.
And the fish pond, there was a story that went with it that the king wanted one built for his daughter. And his daughter wasn't supposed to go look at it. And she went and looked at it, and they turned her into stone.
Interesting.
So that was, some things. And then you've got who was it in the Bible, that is Lot. His wife looked back at the city and was turned into a pillar of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So, these things have been mentioned. We've all heard them.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, are they true or were they just make believe?
That is the question. Now, so which of these segments should we jump to? Should we jump to the census or should we jump to the Menehune ditch?
Go to the Menehune ditch.
Okay, that's
because
all the way over here.
that shows some of their work. And if you look at it, you're going to see some things that are replicated in Peru and Egypt.
All right. So we're going to play this, okay?
The top of a massive stone ditch built by the Menehune is still visible. I brought my family along to help me examine it. So how do you know so much about the Menehune?
I was working on the Nepali coast, training tour guides, and I ran across stories of the Menehune, and I just decided to find out more.
And how did you learn about the ditch here?
Well, the ditch is pretty famous. It's the one structure that you can point at and touch and say the Menehune built this. The Menehune ditch is known locally as Kiki'aola. That means wall of Ola. And Ola was an ali'i, or a king, in early Hawaii. It was built to bring water around the cliff for the people of Ola so that they could irrigate their fields.
When was it first documented?
The first written record of the ditch was back in 1790s when Captain Cook and his crew were here, and they recorded it as being 24 feet high and quite long. They never did get to the end of it.
So the Menehune built this?
That's all we see that's left.
Do we know for sure? Are these pieces still original?
As far as anyone has been able to tell.
Okay.
These are original.
Well, whoever built this, and this is very skilled masonry work, the edges are nice and square, the corners, they're tight joints. They've even notched some of the pieces like this one right here.
So you mean this notch part right here, down here?
Yep,
There?
yep. This particular type of masonry construction is called dry stacking. They didn't use a mortar to hold the joints together. They just cut it tight enough and perfect so that everything fit together, so it basically became an interlocking single unit.
According to the legend, the Menehune built this in one night. There were thousands of them, and they passed the stones from 7 miles away, hand to hand, down the mountain.
One night.
One night.
Okay, well, I can certainly appreciate and respect local legends and myths, but if this was 24 feet tall and all this is hand-cut stone and it came from 7 miles away, I think that's a stretch. When I look at these rocks and then when I look at...
Sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
We could go ahead and skip to the census now.
Okay.
Because he just measures them and stuff like that. And he finds out that it's volcanic rock and that it's the same rock as the cliff.
Okay, so we're moving over to the census, and that's 1820, I think. Is that the right, or 1350? Yeah, so I'm trying to skip over. So, so if you're watching, let's know your thoughts in the chat. And even if this is more like, okay, all this is bilge. Okay, so let's know why you think it's bilge and put your, look. It's okay to disagree with whatever it is you see here. Just come with your reasons, So we're gonna watch. I think this is the census. I hope I got the right timestamp.
Hi, Jenny. How you doing?
Good. How's the search for the mythical creatures going?
Well, it's going pretty well. I learned that there was an ancient race of little people that lived in Indonesia about 12,000 years ago. Unfortunately, they haven't found any bones or remains of these little people in the Hawaiian Islands.
Well, I found something interesting in our guidebook. Apparently, the Menehune were responsible for building a really big waterway on the island of Kauai. It's called the Menehune Ditch.
You know what? That must have been one of the sites that Todd talked about.
Yes, it is. It also says the island census recorded 65 Menehune living on the island in 1820.
65 Menehune on Kauai? Pack your bags. Hawaiian lore tells of an ancient group of little people, just 2 to 3 feet tall, who lived in these islands long ago. I found evidence that little hobbit-like creatures really did exist 12,000 years ago in Indonesia. They completely disappeared, which makes me wonder if they came to Hawaii after being wiped out by a giant volcanic eruption. Of all the Hawaiian islands, Kauai is the one with the most physical evidence that the Menehune existed.
Okay, so
it turns out the top of a massive stone ditch built by the Menehune is still visible.
Okay, so we've already covered this. So the mention of the census was the phone call.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have looked and looked and looked online trying to relocate the actual census because I've seen it. When I was doing my research, I seen it.
Mm.
And the one page, the website that was up that had that is no longer available.
Huh,
It's
convenient.
it's down. But there is several mentions of that 1820 census with the Menehune.
Mm.
I wasn't the only one that's seen it. I think they mentioned it on Ancient Aliens one time too, on their show.
Yeah.
That's what got me to looking for little people. And then I stumbled across the Moonite people while I was doing that. And then the Dropas. So, but there was an actual head count of them. But something else that went with that was that Hawaii did not become an American state until after World War II.
Mm.
So 1820 would not have been a U.S. census.
Okay.
That would have been an individual census by the Hawaiian people.
Okay. Now, question. Okay, question. Since that was not a U.S. census, could it be that this was a census that was equally driven by local politics? And when I say local politics, it could also mean local folklore. You need to continue to...
Well, at that time, the Hawaiian Islands were ruled over by a king.
Okay.
An actual royal family.
Mm-hmm.
They ruled everybody in the entire island chain. And they did count people from time to time. They didn't do it on a regular basis, but they did count them.
Okay.
And that's how the Menehune showed up on the one census. But after that, there was no record found of them.
Okay.
Ever again. That was like the end of it, right there.
Okay, but there's no documentation. It's more of an oral
history.
Oral history.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you want us to play? But now, guys, in the chat, okay, let's stoke the chat a little bit, okay? You guys have watched this, so let's start from the very beginning, okay? Let's start with the poll, okay? The NATO situation. So should Trump force NATO to pay for their own defense, or should NATO be paying for its own defense? All right, because what the news won't tell you is that when Trump takes these hardline positions with countries, especially with NATO, it's not because he's trying to foment chaos. It's because you have over 40 years, actually more than 40 years, of other countries around the world freeloading on the United States. How come the United States is owing how much now? Is it the $37 trillion?
Yeah, it's because we supply stuff for everybody else.
Yeah, so everyone else comes to you to say, "Hey, can we borrow some money from you?" And then you say, "Well, that's okay." And then you put it on your credit card.
And
And
even
then
look at the aid that we've given foreign countries. Millions and millions and millions of dollars every
yeah,
year.
and
We
they
don't
don't
have. We're broke.
that yeah. So you're that guy who takes his friends to the bar or to the pub, and every time they forget their wallet, "Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot my wallet, I'll catch you on the next one." And you've been doing it for 57 years. And your
A
tab
whole
right
lot of
now, yeah, they've been promising you that they'll catch you on the next one. And for 57 years, your credit card bill is in the negative, multiple zeros. And right now you're saying, okay, it's time to put on the big boy pants. You guys, it's time for you to pay for your own drinks. And then the next thing, you open the newspapers the following day and they're calling you a Nazi, they're calling you a racist for telling your friends to bring their wallet to the bar.
Now, there is two factors with that World War II ending. Germany was not allowed to have a military.
Yeah.
They are now. And Japan was not allowed to have a military. And that is why America kept military bases in those two countries,
Mm.
was to make sure that they were protected, but not by their own military.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Japan has just recently started building their military. Taiwan doesn't have a big enough military to take on China. And they were given the promise by another president that they would protect them against China. So these things have been, coming around. And then we've got military base in Korea.
Mm.
Now, why doesn't the Koreans have their own protection against North Korea? I think we would be much better off funding them to have weapons and protect themselves than asking us to do it. We protect the demilitarization zone in Korea.
Yeah.
It's our guys that are on those walls that get shot at, not Koreans.
Mm.
It's our guys that are on the military bases in Europe that will get shot at, not the Europeans.
All right. So guys, time for us to have a conversation, okay? You guys have heard about the little people. We try to kind of put you in the kiddie pool, okay? Shallow waters, so that you kind of wade into it and try and get used to these conversations. And we're bringing up these conversations not because we want you to believe one thing or the other. It's to force you to think and ask questions. With all this
Look
this
it up
evidence.
on the internet. Look
Yeah,
it up. There is some fascinating information out there about the little people
yeah.
in
Just
Ireland and Europe and in Africa and in South America and America and into the Pacific and
yeah.
over to China.
The
Because
the leprechauns.
yeah,
Like there's references there all over the place. Whenever aliens are depicted, they're always depicted as really small,
yeah.
you know.
Or guys,
So
only at night.
this it's just for you guys to ask questions. We're not trying to get you to think
Yeah,
one way
Ireland,
or the other.
what
Now,
is it? They have the fairy hills
yeah,
where the leprechauns, the fairies lived inside the hills.
yeah.
So
So so that's why we bring up these things, and to be honest, we also enjoy talking about these things, and most of us do. Now, the little people is a little bit enigmatic because it tells us these are guys who simply show up at night. Nobody essentially gets to see them work. How did they show up? Nobody knows, but everyone says that they exist. Hey, see what they built, and so on. But in the end, the question is, how does that connect with what we hear from China? Because in China, the law is that a craft crashed, and that was where the little people in China showed up,
the Dropa.
the Dropa. So um it's
And they were killed off
yeah.
too. And but the Dropa stones, those were the things that stood out because they were put in a museum and there was actual pictures taken of them that were circulated.
Okay.
And then all at once, there was a story out that a woman working at the museum took the Dropa stones and disappeared.
All right, so let me play that because we have that queued up.
Yep.
Let me play that because it's like really um
Those are the most amazing artifacts.
all
Just
right, so let's see. All right, so Madison says, yeah, it was a really interesting video. It explains things about the world in great detail, and I really enjoyed it. I appreciate that comment, Madison. Madison, I want to say that you're the very first commenter on Kick who has made any sense. I'm,
Addison
I'm,
was smart.
yeah, I'm sorry to the other guys who've made comments in the past, but you guys keep trying to sell us how to buy views. We don't want to buy views. We want people to actually watch the live stream because they want to. We don't want
Yep.
to buy views. Madison says, "Thank you so much." Yeah, look, um, I hope you stick around. We try very hard to up the quality of the live stream, so if this feels like it's buggy, it's because this segment of our live streams is new. We're still trying to figure
It's
stuff
off
out.
the wall.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure stuff out, so please bear with us. Okay, so I'm going to play this video now. Does it work? I can't hear anything. And there's great. I can't hear anything.
Sound going off on it or something.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the page and see if it fixes that. Still doing the same thing. Let's see. All right, it's not playing any. I'm trying to get the audio up and it's not even.
Okay, those stones were found with very intricate things on them. Those are actual pictures of the stones. And the ones that they were really looking at was some of the oldest ones that had like grooves. They thought it was just grooves. And inside the grooves, there was itty bitty little characters between the grooves. And two men who had the book about these Dropa stones being at that museum in China went to China to see them and were told they're no longer here. This woman took them and disappeared. We don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They hid them. They didn't want anybody else looking at them. But there was something like 750 of those stones that were found.
Yeah. So So this isn't
And they
doing
were
what.
found in a cave.
Yeah. So there's tons of stuff that's unexplained, and simply because something isn't explained doesn't mean that there isn't an explanation.
Well,
It just requires more
yeah,
research.
even recently, it's been let out that there are actually pyramids in China.
All right. Um so first off, Madison says thank you for us complimenting her about them being intelligent about the comments that they're making. Uh, so they're asking, okay, then please tell me about the panels you messaged me about. If you can't explain it during the stream, you can share your personal Discord or Instagram. We can talk there. I don't want to disturb the stream. It doesn't feel right to interrupt it. All right. So I'm going to ask you to send an email to this email address. We do have a Discord, but I haven't activated it yet because, to be honest with you, uh, we don't yet know what format this community is going to take. There are several things that we're still trying to re-engineer with with the channel, the live stream, the videos, where we're in a rebuilding season. So the Discord is there, but we're not going to start pushing traffic into the Discord just yet. So send me an email to this email on the screen, crossroadsirl@gmail.com. And you can ask your questions, and then I'll do my best to respond. Look, Patricia started as someone writing comments on our live streams and videos, and then she sends paragraphs, which is cool. And I enjoyed reading the comments. And then she sent me an email. I put up my email address. She sent me an email. We talked on email for a bit, and then we got on a call. And then now she's basically co-hosting the live streams with me. So just go ahead. Start. I read the chats. I read the comments. Okay. I try to honor your time, because if you take the time to watch my videos and then include extra time to send me a comment that is well thought out, whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't mean you have to massage my ego. Tell me something, be constructive about it. Canary King is in the live, is on the stream. He does it all the time. He says things to get under my skin. And then sometimes he succeeds, sometimes he doesn't. So you don't have to agree with everything and glaze me every single time you post in the comment section. You're not going to get attacked because of it. If you have a conversation, a decent argument, you can post it in the chat. I'll read it. We'll talk about it. Yeah, if this is something that you think we can handle right here on the live stream, you can post it in the chat, and then we can attempt to talk about it. The key talking points that we got into the live stream trying to cover, we've covered them mostly. So if you have a question and you feel like asking it would be something that we can talk about on the live stream, we will do our best to answer it. If I read it and it's something that I need to get back to you with an email or something longer, then I'll let you know. So feel free to post it in the chat. But in other words, here's the email address. You can use that later, but send your questions, because right now, to be honest, I'm not sure what you mean about the panels I messaged you about. So I need to understand what that refers to. I'm a bit confused, if I'll be honest with you about that.
Back to the Dropa. The story of them are that they were in a spacecraft and it crashed. And they couldn't fix it. So they had to adapt to survive on Earth. And they hid in caves because they were scared of the local people. And it was reported that they had big heads and small bodies.
Ah. I wonder where that turned up later. Huh.
Now, China didn't release this information, but they had a book about this museum, and these stones were photographed and put in that book. And these two guys got into China and went to the museum to see them. And we're told, oh, those disappeared.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna see those.
All right. Now, I keep forgetting this bit about the live stream. And look, I'm so focused on trying to make this as enjoyable as possible for you guys that I forget to ask you guys to subscribe, like, and share. I also forget to ask you guys to consider supporting the channel with a donation or with a super chat or with joining the membership. If you want to find out how that works, the super chat feature is on the monetized channel. If you're watching on the backup channel, you can use the link in the video description that takes you to the Streamlabs donation link. It's right there. And if you are watching elsewhere, like Kick or Twitch or Rumble, and you feel like you want to donate to us, okay, we're not monetized on any of those platforms yet. Request a link, and then I can post the link to the Streamlabs donation page for you to do that. Okay, so I'm just putting it out there because sometimes, the Bible says, "Ask and you shall receive." And I haven't been doing much asking because, to be honest, I think I have some pride about not asking for help, and I need to work on that. And secondly, I want to focus on providing as much quality as possible. I want to knock your socks off with so much quality, truth, and facts that you can't help but send us support. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. And you'll forgive me if occasionally I forget to do that and then spring it on you at the last minute to say, oh, by the way, donate or do something like that. So let's see. Madison says she sent me an email. I'm going to check. She asked me to confirm. So I'm going to confirm that the email arrived. I'm going to do that for you, Madison, because you are so special. You are the first Kick viewer that has made sense. And I want to respect that and show you that I appreciate the effort that you're making. Okay, I just want to let you know that I appreciate it. Okay, yes, Madison, I see you. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so I got the email. Okay, but I'm still. I need more information about the panels. I'm still drawing a blank. So you need to kind of flesh out that question properly. Okay, so I just want to see that. So let's see. So today's a Saturday. It's usually quiet. Now, what's going on right now, for the most part, is that people are freaking out over the riots taking place in Minnesota, and eventually, maybe someday we could do a live stream where we cover the riots, but covering those riots is risky because sometimes you have people who just strip all their clothes off and jump into the frame because they want to demonetize the channels that are covering the riots. It's a tactic because they want a total information blackout.
They only want their people covering the riots.
Yeah.
They don't want independents there, and they don't want national news there. And national news has obliged them by not showing up.
Yeah.
And why, I don't know. And the same thing's going on with Iran.
Yeah.
They don't want to report what's actually happening. Very few channels are covering what's going on in Iran.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that, yes, troops are being moved into Iraq on the Iranian border. We've got 2 aircraft carriers heading into the Persian Gulf. And the power those 2 aircraft carrier groups brings with them is massive. You're talking gunboats. You're talking submarines along with the aircraft carriers. There's like 4 to 6 gunboats to each carrier. That is enough to wipe Iran off the map. Just one carrier group could do that. So it's building.
Yeah.
And do I think they'll go in? Yeah, but it ain't going to be like you think. It's going to be very directed strikes. It's not going to be a full invasion force. But the Iranian people will know they're there.
Well, we're going to be following that closely. So, I think the chat has essentially dried up. So we've covered the stories. We don't want to drag this out because you know, look, guys, someday Patricia and I are going to just sit down and just have a talk and ignore everybody because we can talk all day
Yes.
about different things, and we switch gears. We talk about everything. So someday we're going to do that, maybe. But because we're trying to work on the channel, sometimes we need to make the live streams a bit more engaging and interactive. So this is what we might be doing going forward. And I want you guys to let us know in the chat or in the comments section what you think about this move going forward. Now, I haven't mentioned this to Patricia. This actually came up. I thought about it just after I hit go live, and that's this. We have two YouTube channels. One is the main channel, is monetized. It's where most of the content that we're working on lives. There's a second channel that is the backup channel, and it's not monetized. But we don't want to strip away the long form content, like videos like this one. This live stream that we just did doesn't do well on the main channel. In fact, it doesn't do well at all. But I know that there's a bunch of you out there that could find this content and would love people just sitting down, don't care about what people think or say about the topics we're talking about. You just love diving in and out of these subjects and looking at it from a different lens. So I'm thinking we might just leave the long form of this live stream on the backup channel. That's where it lives. And then on this main channel, we unpublish it and then we cut it up into bite-sized content. We choose the best one and publish it on the main channel. The other clips go over to the backup channel. It's just a thought. I want you guys to let us know what you think in the comment section or send us an email. Again, I'm going to put up the email address. We are working on making this useful for you, and we don't want it to be a burden. Okay, we don't want it to be a burden. So and like I said, we're running a bunch of experiments. But if you haven't seen the video, the main video that we reacted to earlier, head on over to the YouTube channel. Okay, the YouTube channel is Crossroads IRL, and we have that video up there. It was published just a couple of days ago. It details Trump's statements in 1987, where he talks about NATO paying its own bills. And then fast forward to when he actually begins to implement that for the United States. But what is the reaction of the world when he says it? He's attacking his allies. He's attacking his allies for telling them to pay their own bills. Okay, that's asinine. That is stupid. That is one of the things that I see in the world today that tells me that anyone who tries to convince me that I am required as a black person from Africa to hate Trump, I believe that you are demon possessed, because you have refused to look at the facts. Look at the facts on the table. Let's discuss the facts, and then after we're done talking about the facts, then you can ask me about his character. I say all the time, I will not tell my kids to talk or to behave like Donald Trump, because that's not being very nice. But he's a businessman. he's a street fighter. He didn't get to be a billionaire by being nice with his vendors and letting them cheat him. All right. And he's a New Yorker. New Yorkers are not nice. They are not nice. Yeah.
If you insult them, they will come back and they will bury you.
Yeah. So like these are the kinds of things that, and you know what? There are a bunch of you out there who will never agree with me about my support for Trump's policies. That's fine. I have family who disagree with me on supporting Trump and his policies. I was talking with a family member this evening, and guess what they were watching? TDSBC. TDSBC is always on in that house. All right? I'm talking family. I'm talking people I love. TDSBC is always on in that house. If you mention Trump, they have their own ideas about Trump. Okay, I don't want to exaggerate. Okay, so I don't hate my family because they don't like Trump, and I don't hate you if you don't agree with me. I just want you to learn how to look at the facts and make a decision.
I think
Okay.
the worst thing that people go to about Trump is number one, no, he's not a preacher.
Yeah.
He is not. He is not a diplomat. He is not a politician. He didn't go to law school, but he knows that blooming Constitution. And he's smart enough to surround his people with the best ones out there. And he's done a better job of it the second time around than he did with the first time. You got to remember, the rhinos didn't want him in there either.
Yeah.
The Republicans did not back him. And they should have. And this has opened up the whole thing about more and more people looking at not electing politicians, but normal, I don't even know if you could call them normal, but average Americans.
Yeah.
Outside of the political realm.
Yeah.
To go to DC. And that's how that Constitution was set up to begin with. It wasn't to have people represented by lawyers. It was to have us represented by our own people.
Yeah.
And DC has evolved into this lawyer thing to where now, instead of Congress doing their job, they keep filing these mundane lawsuits that go into a district court and then get shot down by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
When the Supreme Court comes back and says, no, you can't do that. It's the Constitution.
And then they say we need to pack the courts.
Yeah, they want to pack the courts because they know one thing for a fact. They can't change that Constitution. They would never, ever get an amendment passed and ratified to change it. And by ratifying, a lot of people don't understand that an amendment to the Constitution takes 33 states to vote for it to be added to the Constitution before it becomes a part of the Constitution. And that's why when you look at the Constitution, you will not find an equal rights amendment attached to it.
Yeah.
It was never ratified. It failed that test.
Yeah.
They couldn't get 33 states to say, yeah, I'll put it on there.
Yeah.
And that is something that's very important for people to understand and know about how their own government functions. And does the president have the power to send troops somewhere? Yes, he does, at a moment's notice. The only thing Congress has the right to do, and that is to back up the president and declare a war.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what got us into trouble with World War II, because they would not agree to enter the war, even though the German U-boats were blowing our ships and our people out of the water in the Atlantic.
Seriously. So this cowardice goes back all the way up to the 1900s.
And it wasn't military ships that they were blowing up.
Yeah.
It was private individual liners that people transported themselves on to Europe and back and to England. And the Germans attacked them because they said we were shipping supplies to Britain to help with the war. And the supplies that were being shipped were not military supplies. They were food stocks and resource items like that.
Yeah.
And people.
Guys, this is why Patricia is such an amazing person and resource. Look, just look at how she pulled out that fact. Just from talking about Congress being filled with lawyers all the way to World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this thing about the commander-in-chief's powers. Now, I heard that the Senate was wanting to pass a bill to restrict those. Now, something else that people need to understand. Korea was never declared war. Vietnam was never declared war. Neither one of those were declared wars, and we lost thousands to go fight in somebody else's country for something that wasn't even declared a war. And Congress wants to nitpick now, but a commander-in-chief has to be able to say, when the 2:00 phone call comes in, send the troops.
Yeah.
He has to. If he can't do that, then we've got no military protection anymore. If you let them idiots up there in Congress discuss and argue over whether or not the military should be involved. That's why we have a commander-in-chief. And can he call troops to intervene in Minnesota? You betcha he can. Presidents have done it before.
Yeah. And this insanity about trying to is it repeal or to pass the War Powers Act?
Yeah, that's it. The War Powers Act.
That makes no.
The commander-in-chief's powers.
Yeah, but that's a constitutional. Yeah, but that's a constitutional vote, which essentially is going to need 32 states to pass
to ratify it.
So that's another waste of the taxpayers' time and money.
They just want to keep the chaos going. That's like saying that what ICE is doing is illegal. No, it's not. We have immigration laws. There are actually laws on the book. If you want to look them up, do not look for illegal immigrants. Look for illegal aliens.
Yeah.
Because that's what's written into the law.
One of the future videos, I'm thinking about doing a future video about the dumbing down of Americans.
Yep.
There's this lady, I've forgotten her first name. The last name is Essa Bates. And she gave an amazing interview in the 80s about how socialists and communists essentially began the process of infiltrating America's educational system and rewriting the curriculum in order to water down education for starters, and then to begin to indoctrinate kids. So I would like to do a video on that soon, because
and that came into existence.
Yes.
I mean, even the Chinese had their Confucius centers set up in universities, and they even have their own police department established in some areas in America.
Yeah.
A foreign power has their police force in our blooming country.
How does that work, please? How does that work?
And that was done to keep the Chinese students in line. The Chinese just don't turn their people loose.
And so we're essentially allowing communists to come into your own country to enforce their own laws on your own soil. What was it that Thomas Jefferson said about an educated population?
Yeah, it was, if you want a country to fail, don't educate your people.
Yeah. And that's essentially what they learned. They reverse engineered Tom Jefferson's statement and said, okay, to destroy America, you need to destroy the educational system.
Well, the Chinese and the Russians both know to bring a war to American soil, they would never win it. And it's not because of our military, it's because of our people.
Yeah.
So in order to destroy this country, which they want out of the way, because if you get rid of America, Europe falls.
Yeah.
Canada will fall.
Yeah.
South America will fall. There will not be one country capable of standing up against them. And they know that.
Yeah.
So if you can destroy America and flip it to communist rule, then you've won the whole world. And that's what they went after. And that New World Order was something that they wanted, a structure that there was a government over the entire world instead of individual countries. And the New World Order knew that in order to get one government to rule, the only one that could do it successfully was the communist, because they rule with fear. Their people are scared to death of their government.
Yeah.
They threaten their families. They threaten them. Those people walk on eggshells because somebody could report you tomorrow and you'll just disappear.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever mention your name again, because to mention your name after that, to ask where'd they go, would land you right beside them.
Yeah.
And that's how they control their people. People wonder, well, how do communists control all those people? That's how. And they don't value human life, so they have no qualms whatsoever about shooting you or running a tank over you or putting you in an apartment building and welding the doors shut so that when it caught on fire, it killed everybody in it. That happened during COVID.
Yeah.
They actually welded doors shut on apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And nobody could get out. And there was a fire, and I forgot how many people died. But people need to understand these things. And some people think, well, the New World Order, well, what they didn't know was Bill Clinton was a member of that.
Yeah.
Obama's a member of it. And there's a lot of other world leaders involved in it, including the British guy that's ruling over Britain right now. France is in on it. Merkel from Germany was in on it. And they were the ones pressing. That's why they did the European Euro. They were trying to combine all the European nations in one.
To compete against America.
Well, they found out when they did that, it really hurt them.
Yeah.
Because before, when one country was having a bad run at it, the others could pick up the pace.
Yeah.
And
but now all of them are affected.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Now, because they combined everything, if Greece has an off year, everybody feels it.
Yeah.
And that is something that I expect to see to fall apart. Well, it already has started to do that.
Yeah.
And Germany will probably end up leading the way because they're the one country, them and Denmark, that had the biggest economy in Europe. And it was because of the German steel.
Yeah.
Excellent steel. We learned to make steel from the Germans.
Mm.
I don't know where the Japanese learned it, and I know China daggone well don't know what they're doing with it.
All right. So we're gonna be ending the live stream in a few moments. But here's something that I believe will be a good compromise. I did announce something earlier, and I feel like that's a bit of it's a bit of it's overkill to just unpublish a live stream that is connected to an existing video. Is overkill. Okay, like I said, guys, I never claim that we know what we're doing here. We're trying to figure stuff out, and I figured, okay, the best way to reach a compromise on this whole thing, okay, is this. When we're done with doing the review on the video that the live stream starts out with, so let's say with, like, for today, the NATO Trump statement, okay, once we're done with that segment of the live stream, here's what I'm proposing, and let me know in the chat or comment section. We end the live stream for the main channel. We say good night to the main channel, and we say, if you want to continue this long-winded conversation between Patricia and I, because it's going to be long, okay, here's the link to the other channel. You can head on over there, and then we can continue the long conversation. I think that's a safer compromise, because I'll tell you what, all right. There are lots of people out there who have been trained by mainstream media not to engage in long, strenuous conversations like this. People are lazy. They can't engage in a serious conversation for 2 minutes, talk less of an hour, where you're trying to drill down into serious topics and try to make the connection between what's going on today and what happened 50, 100 years ago, and how it connects together. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to essentially break off the live stream after we do the review on the video, and then invite you to come over to the backup channel to continue. All the other platforms will stay live, like Kick, Twitch, Rumble. They all stay live and get the full brunt of the full content. But we want to do something different for the main channel. So for those of us who are natives of the main channel, for future live streams, the only bit of the live stream you're going to get is the review of the video, where we talk about the video and we talk about our reactions and comments. Once we're done with that, we break off the live stream and flip over to the backup channel. We're trying to work on the channel, so we want you to understand what we're planning to do, so you don't feel like you're being abandoned. Canary King says Germany was an advanced science economy from early on. German engineering, German engineering, and then Japan also has a deep culture of science and technology. China is a new kid on the block.
They're just copying everybody else and stealing their ideals. China is.
Yeah, so just like I asked the question about modern technology, how did we go from the horse and buggy to B-52 bombers? Did we copy somebody else's work? It's an honest question. Look,
I would just like to know how in the hay they found out about microwaves. Because I do know that at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, they were testing out and trying to build a microwave weapon. And when they chucked that aside, they released the microwave technology to the public. And the public ingenuity built the microwave oven. So we could cook a hot dog in a minute. But how in God's name did they come up with microwaves?
Yeah.
Up
How did that
to that
happen?
point is all we knew was radio waves and the waves for the TV
Yeah.
that was going through the air. So, where did that come from?
We're gonna unpack most of that as we keep doing these deep dives into ancient civilizations, alien technology, myths that have been said to be conspiracy theories, and then now it turns out that they weren't really myths. We're going to be going into all of that. Kanarikin says, but that's the problem. Why are we letting China rob our tech and use it to steal jobs? I would answer this on
Bill
on
Clinton.
behalf. I would answer this on behalf of the American people and Americans in the chat, and I have an American, as my co-host. You can feel free to slap me up the side of the head to tell me I'm right or wrong. Okay, so here's it: the American people aren't letting China rob your tech and use it to steal Americans' jobs. It's the politicians that
Mhm.
are letting China. They're your look.
This started back when Bill Clinton backed China being included in the World Trade Orders.
Yeah,
Then that last 2 years he was in office, he went around the world making free trade deals with everybody. There was
yeah,
over 33 countries.
yeah,
China was one of them.
yeah,
And the Chinese trade deal included that if an American business manufacturer moved their operation to China, they had to give up all their secrets to the Chinese government.
hmm,
And you wonder how they stole that information.
yeah,
It was given to them.
yeah,
Now they do come here and install their spies in different manufacturing processes and things
yeah,
to steal information. They also steal it from college laboratories,
yeah.
and Obama let them waltz into Fort Knox. Their military trained with ours at Fort Knox here in Kentucky.
Oh, come on.
Yes, we had videos of them unloading their equipment in a place south of Louisville, south of the base. The Chinese military took their equipment to Mexico and sent it up here on a railroad, by railroad. And there was actual videos on the internet of people in that area driving around taking pictures of it, doing videos of them unloading the Chinese equipment, the tanks and the personnel carriers and the jeeps and the trucks were all being unloaded for a joint little war game thing at Fort Knox. That's when the Chinese probably found out that none of our military in American bases carry weapons, except for the MPs that guard the gates.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean our guys can't get to the equipment to shoot somebody.
But it just makes the bases and the personnel vulnerable. That's a vulnerability.
Very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. But by law, our military isn't allowed to carry weapons on American soil. If you ever watch the videos of them down on the southern border, they don't have weapons. They're not allowed to arrest anybody. They always send border agents out with them. But I think Trump has been changing that. I hope he has.
Yeah.
because I never could understand why you would disarm your military.
So Canary King says the World Trade Organization was a complete disaster.
Yes.
Yeah, he follows up and says they gutted the U.S. industrial sector. You know,
It's all a
I'll
part of take the country down.
I'll be honest. Last year there was a period in 2024 where all my videos ended with a call to action asking you to read the book by Thomas Sowell called "Dismantling America,"
Mm-hmm.
and maybe and the link is still available in my. In fact, maybe I'll just paste it in the chat, guys. Go go listen, go and listen to that to that book. It is
Paul Harvey.
heartbreaking and it is criminal. It is criminal what has been allowed to happen to the United States. And
I don't know if you've ever listened to old broadcast by Paul Harvey.
no, I haven't.
And you need to look him up and listen to him on how to destroy America. He gave a whole broadcast on it. And this was, I think, back in the late 60s, maybe the middle 60s. And he laid out the whole course on how you can take this country down from the inside.
So I've shared the link with you guys. If you don't know who Tom Sowell is, or if you don't like Tom Sowell for any reason, just listen to the book. It details policies from the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, uh, policies from 50 years ago, essentially designed to destroy the country. It's infuriating to read and to see that these things have been happening for a long time, and
And
they're
it,
happening
it
right.
wasn't only the Democrats that were
No,
compliant with that,
no, it wasn't.
because Republicans went into office and did nothing. The last Republican before Trump that actually did something to help the country was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
He's the one. When I was in the military, when he came on board, I can tell you the B-1 bomber, not the stealth one, but the B-1 bomber was built to replace the B-52 bomber that was used in Vietnam. America had 0 B-1 bombers. They were being sold to Germany. Not Germany, to Israel. Israel was buying the B-1 bombers, and we didn't have one in our Air Force. And it was a much more efficient bomber. It was reported to be able to carry more than the B-52 bombers and go twice as far without refueling. And we didn't have one in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And when Ronald Reagan took office, he put B-1 bombers in the Air Force. But that's how they did things. I mean,
Is it safe to say that since what's his name now? I see his face in front of my eyes, but I'm like the president who basically was in office during the Iran crisis, Jimmy Carter.
Carter.
That since Carter, there's been an orchestrated effort by Democrats to disarm and to weaken the country.
Yes.
Because that's the way it looks. It's not an accusation. It's just the way it looks. Canary King says about the China infiltration. He says, but the FBI arrests 2 Chinese nationals a week for espionage.
Yes.
Also, they've hacked virtually every Fortune 1000 company's databases and stolen trade secrets. Yet Apple and other companies are allowed to willy-nilly produce there.
One other thing they've been hacking into in America, and I know this for a fact because I got a letter on it, the Pentagon. I got a letter telling me from the Pentagon that all my information was downloaded by a Chinese hacker, that every veteran and every active duty member's records were downloaded. All of it. Who your family is, what you did in the military, what your expertise is, the whole 9 yards. Of course, this happened about 15 years ago. And the other thing they've hacked into is our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Our trains, our water, our electric. You wondered why we was having so many train wrecks. And then they started buying up farmland, and food processing plants were to be built on those farms. And all at once, we've had over 150 food processing plants burned to the ground. That's not a coincidence.
Doesn't look like one.
Our egg prices did not shoot up because of the economy. Our egg prices shot up because Biden sent a bunch of people out west to chicken farms and killed all the chickens. And then the major egg producer in Massachusetts, it burnt to the ground and killed all the chickens. That's
Wow.
when egg prices shot up.
That's sabotage.
And what people don't understand about that is it takes a year to raise a chicken to start laying eggs. And that's why when Trump took office, egg prices didn't fall immediately. There weren't enough chickens to lay them. In fact, Trump was, I forgot who it was he worked around with to get eggs imported into America so people can buy eggs. I remember the day I walked into a Walmart and there were no eggs. There was zero, none, not even a carton of broken eggs left in the cooler. And I asked one of the workers, where's the eggs? Well, they haven't shipped us any. Well, they couldn't because there was none. And then they went out and they killed some cows. But when they went out to kill the hogs, China said no because they had bought Smithfield, the pork processing plant. And I believe it's up in either Wisconsin or Minnesota. And, they were fined. I forgot by how much for breaking child labor laws. It was like $250,000. And I said, well, maybe they ought to start there looking for the 350,000 missing kids that Biden let into the country and then lost. They're all working at a Chinese plant. And the guts to want to be president. Oh, Hillary.
Yeah, so you have the politicians have no shame. They blow it, they destroy things, they fail at governing, and then they have the guts to tell you that you should vote them back into office, else somebody else is going to do worse than they're doing. So yeah, Hillary had the guts to want to be president. Canary King also asked, what did Tom Sowell say about this topic? Now, he said a lot, so you follow the link, get the book. The link, if you aren't on Audible, the link gets you a free trial. You get a free trial, download the book, listen to it. It will, if you're a patriot and you listen to the things that he details in that book, because what Tom does is that he he has researchers get all of these information, and these are essays that Tom writes as certain things are developing in the news and in the economy. He writes an essay in response to some of these things. So this is a collection of his essays, and he details crazy things like Obama essentially flying to a country like Saudi Arabia and essentially um, behaving like America is subservient to the Saudi prince of
We
Saudi.
called it his apology trip.
Like it's like
He was apologizing to every country he went into.
So please, so just read the book, and I'm sure you run into more detail because I read it and I couldn't believe my ears. Okay, there's so much in the book. I read it a couple of years back, so just go ahead and enjoy. Okay, get a free trial on Audible on me. Clinton, the Clinton plus W. Bush 16 years were essentially a hollowing out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Canary King also says both Kerry and W. Bush are members of a secret society. Now we're beginning to sound like Alex Jones.
New World Order.
Clinton is probably a member of a secret society based on his comments, associations, and look, it's obvious. Okay, those of us, you see, when you begin to see certain patterns, you can't unsee it. You just can't unsee it.
It's just there.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, there are people that says, well, Clinton did a lot of good for the country. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Canary King says the manipulation of the food supply chain is out of control. Yeah. It is out of control, and then they want to, and then they want you to believe that it's Trump's fault.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to control an entire country, lock up their food.
Yeah. Bill Gates is one of the largest owners of arable land. He's also a big investor in food preservation chemical companies. Yep.
Yep.
And then Canary King says, I used to read Tom Sowell's essays in Forbes magazine years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I think maybe I'll go back to recommending books because sometimes it's like you make these conversations, on a live stream or on a video, and it's like, okay, they think they're all originally your ideas. I'm sorry, none of us has an original idea. None of us has an original idea. We learn from people who have common sense, or we learn from people who are stupid, and then we parrot these ideas, or we internalize them, and then we repeat these ideas. That's how people learn. Okay, that's how people learn. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm this super smart guy and all of these ideas are my ideas. I get my wisdom from the Bible and from other smart, common sense people. And my job is to help as many people as I can to learn where to get the wisdom from. Canary King says, it's not speculation. Kerry and Bush are both members of the Skull and Bones Society. They joined at Yale. I'm reading the comments, guys. I'm reading the comments. So I'm reading the comments. So this is what's going to happen, okay? It's official that the next time Patricia just sent me something, and I'm going to take a look at what she sent me. The next time we go live, what we're going to do is excuse me, I need to see the video that's okay. If I were the devil, okay. The next time we go live, we're going to go through the primary story, take your reactions on the primary story, then announce that we're going off the air and invite everyone to move over to the backup channel. So that's what we're going to do. Now, the reason why that's important is this. The video we reacted to, or we did commentary on, that was published on Thursday, is it's doing very well. And what happens with YouTube is, if you have a successful video that's doing really well and then you publish another video that isn't doing very well, YouTube aggregates your channel and says, okay, your channel isn't doing very well, so we're not going to push more of your content. So this long live stream isn't going to do very well. There's no chaos, there's no outrage, there's nobody screaming in the chat how they hate Trump. There's no screaming, there's no profanity, there's no exposing people's parts on the live stream to draw in young men. So it's not going to do well. So
it's not clickbait.
It's not clickbait. So what I will do after this live stream is going to get either unlisted or privated. The only place you're going to be able to see this live stream is on the backup channel. All right.
Yep.
The backup channel is essentially going to be where all of that is going to live. Okay. And then in the future, we're going to have a 20-minute window where we cover the review of the topic on the previous video. Keep it tight.
The main
And then, yeah, on the main channel, it will live stream everywhere. But once we're done with that review and the comments and the live chat, we end the live stream on the main channel, but the live stream continues on the backup channel. So we just tell you, okay, those of you on the main channel, head over to the backup channel. And then we just know that because right now, if you can see me, I'm relaxed. I'm stretching my legs out. I'm relaxed, but I know that if I leave the live stream on the main channel, it's going to mess up the algorithm for the main channel, sadly. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm letting you guys know so that you're aware of it. Now, I have another announcement to make. Tonight is a night of announcements. It's likely that we're going to focus our live streaming on YouTube. We're not getting any energy from Rumble. Now, maybe I keep live streaming on Rumble to make Rumble like this safety deposit box where all of the stuff goes to live in case YouTube decides that they want to do what they did during the first 2 years of Biden's administration and start nuking people's channels simply because they like somebody that we're told not to like. So I have copious evidence that I like someone that they don't want me to like.
Miss Lulu.
So far, the last video that the video that we just reviewed has over 2,300 views in just a couple of days. And it's about Trump being right. So I clearly am talking about someone they don't want us to like or have anything positive to say about. The next video I'm going to be releasing is about how stupid they are to think that we're going to forget that in 2016, they believed that ICE were heroes, and that suddenly in 2017, 2018, they are suddenly the Gestapo. And we watched it transition in real time only because Trump was in office. They want us to forget all of that. Yep. So I think I'm just going to keep that going, but we're going to keep having these conversations at the back end of the live stream on the backup channel and so on. We're going to see if we're going to keep those going because I really want to carry you guys along. Okay, I feel like you guys are friends, your family. You guys, Canary King has been on the live stream from the beginning. You guys invest your time, and I want to respect you and let you know what I'm thinking as much as I can to let you know this is what's going on and get your input. Okay, this channel has done well because you guys have sent your suggestions. Canary King likes the idea, and Canary King is responsible for the live streams. He's responsible for he told me I want to see, I encourage you to do more live streams, and he's the one who is responsible for the live streams happening. So if you want someone to blame for this guy having live streams, saying things you don't like, that's the guy he's responsible.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. Canary King also says manage the content for best results. Yes. We are doing that. So I'm sad to say that this is going to be, this particular stream will be going off air, And I will watch the performance of the future live streams. If they do well, then they're going to continue staying on. But if they don't do well, they'll be unlisted after the live stream. I want to protect the channel and make sure that people, get good value by the channel actually doing well. Totally good idea. Klekin is happy with that. And then Klekin says, I just hope Trump isn't going to slow down on China. He isn't going to.
No.
Look,
He knows
Trump
the threat.
Trump holds a grudge. Trump
He-
holds a grudge, and he blames China for 2020.
Yep. He knows the threat is China.
Yeah.
He knows it beyond a shadow of a doubt. He knows it from when the building codes changed and they started using more imported steel.
Mm.
Now, one thing I can tell you about that, my father worked for Interlake Steel Plant, an American producing steel plant. And in the middle of the early 70s, there was companies dumping steel in America. And dumping means that they were selling it here cheaper than what it cost them to make it. And the American steel corporations did a tensile strength test on this imported steel and found out it did not pass tensile strength. Now, tensile strength in metals is like this piece of wire has a tensile strength, and it means that you can bend it. And there's just so many times that you can bend this piece of wire before it breaks.
Mm.
And I can do this with my hand, and this wire is copper with silver coating. I use it to make jewelry. There it is, broke. I got two pieces here now. So the tensile strength of the steel was failing. And my father told me at that time, do not be shocked when you hear about aircraft coming apart in the air or buildings falling down, because the tensile strength wasn't there to hold it all together. Now, when 9/11 happened and I seen those buildings pancake, meaning one floor was collapsing onto another floor, and it went boom, 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 boom. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why. There was a plane that crashed into the Empire State Building in New York. There was an airplane that crashed into the Empire State Building, and it never collapsed.
Mm.
Never collapsed. But in the Twin Towers, and what a lot of people didn't pay attention to at that time was that Bush ordered a test of the steel used in the Twin Towers. And they did test that steel, and after they tested it, there was a ban, and you might remember it, put on importing steel. Japan and Germany went nuts over it.
Mm.
And it was quite a while before steel got to come back to America. But that goes back to the part that I keep saying. Our country does not test imports.
Mm.
You don't know what is in the products China is shipping to your home in America. You don't know what the silverware made in China is made of. You don't know what the pots and pans are made of. You don't know what kind of paint they're using on items that you're bringing into your home. You don't know the process of the plastics that they use to make kitchen utensils and things. what they've got in them. They could be radioactive for all you know.
Mm.
They could have lead in them. They could be laced with cyanide poisoning. I mean, there's no telling what's coming in it because the FDA can't test every product China sends here, and they know it. So if you want to trust them, go ahead and buy their stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're going to pay more for the American made, but I bet you'll know what's in it.
Yeah.
But that goes for any product shipped into America. If you remember, they were having people to get salmonella poisoning from lettuce in America.
Yeah.
And that lettuce was being imported from Mexico. And they found out that the Mexicans were using human waste to fertilize their fields. And this contaminated the food. So people were getting sick from it and didn't realize that the vegetables coming up from Mexico were being handled that way down there. And the
Um.
FDA was not testing it.
Um. I I hear these. Oh, I'm trying. I have church tomorrow. Now I'm not a religious person. I'm a Christian. Okay. I'm not a religious person. I'm a Christian, and um sometimes you have this rage well up in you when you hear people who essentially are trying to plow the country into the dirt.
Yep.
They're literally trying to pound the United States into the dirt and make Americans feel sorry because their ancestors set them up for success. Now, I'm saying this because you mentioned food.
Yep.
Any Nigerian out there who finds this video, you guys know it's true. So don't come after me and try to pretend that it's not. We have people who sell fruit on the side of the road. And early in the morning, there have been reports. It's not something that's widespread, but early in the morning, people have reported seeing these people who sell fruits wash the fruits with filthy water because they're too lazy to go get clean water to wash the fruits. Some of them have washed the fruit in sewers.
Yep.
They've been seen doing that because they're too lazy to go
And that
get
will
the
make
clean
people
water.
sick.
Yes, like I had food poisoning because I ate, that was years ago. I ate fruit that my wife had washed and cut up. Now, I like to eat my fruit with the skin on, but my wife eats the fruit without the skin. So she gave me fruit and I chomped it down with the skin. She didn't. When I wash fruit, I wash it with soap and I use a sharp knife to scrape the very top layer of the fruit just to make sure I get anything that's following, off the fruit. I even do it today in Canada because it's a habit. But that's what I have to do to make sure that I don't get sick when I eat fruits that I buy off the street. But today, I go to Walmart or I go somewhere and I buy fruit and I just have to run some water over it and wash it off and then eat it, and it's clean. The third world is a third world because they don't value standards and quality like you do
But they don't
in the
have
West.
standards.
They don't have standards.
They don't.
Okay? They don't have standards. And in the third world, when you try to enforce standards, they attack you. I
Yeah,
lived
because it'll
it.
cost them money.
I lived it. They attack you for trying to impose standards. They ask you who you think you are, being so uptight and think you're better than everyone else. Okay, so where have you heard that before in America?
Yeah.
Okay? It's crazy to see people who are just obsessed with destroying the thing that makes America what it is, destroying the legacy of the founding fathers and of your ancestors who essentially handed you a country that is the greatest country on the planet. And then you want anyone who disagrees with you to be cancelled and destroyed because you're so obsessed with kowtowing to countries that hate you. You know,
People are upset because I've heard them. Well, where would we get our stuff from?
Canary says that's crazy. There's crazy chemical preservatives on the fruit. Please cut off the skin. Look up the new product appeal. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. Okay, now I'm in Canada. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about, but what I try to do is, like I said, even here in Canada, I still occasionally have to run a knife over the skin of the fruit.
One thing I can tell you is that Canada and Europe standards on food are far more better than America's. They don't allow certain ingredients in foods because of the connection of it causing sicknesses, illnesses, like the red food dyes. I mean, you look at any product that's American and red food dyes in it.
Yeah.
And it causes cancer. They spray the crops with pesticides. They treat the ground with weed killers before they scratch plant a crop. According to the EPA, you shouldn't plow your ground. So they went to scratch planting, which means that you've got to kill all the vegetation off of it before you plant your crop. Because they just take this thing, it's like a rake, and they rake these little lines across the ground and the seeds drop down in it and they grow it there. And then they found out that the grain crops was absorbing the weed killer.
So Canary King is also giving us more information. I love Canary King, even though sometimes I wonder if he loves me back. The way he sends me stuff.
It's mixed with something like a wax.
Yeah, to coat it and to preserve it so that it keeps for longer. Appeal is preservative that's secretly used today. We don't know the long-term effects. And the Canary King says, let's keep going. Europe standards are actually really good. And then he says also, American food is banned in many countries. How bad has it gotten?
Okay, a loaf of bread. How long do you think you can keep a loaf of bread bought at the store on your counter before it starts growing mold?
Tell me, because
usually it's about a week. Usually
for homemade bread, for store bought,
a store bought loaf of bread. I had a friend that brought me 2 loaves of bread, and I don't eat a lot of bread. So I had this loaf of bread sitting on my counter for 3 weeks. And I noticed it didn't have any mold on it. And I opened it up. The bread was still fresh filling.
Okay.
No mold.
Okay. So
I'm wondering, what the hey have they done to the bread?
so it's gotten so bad that mold stays away from that bread.
Yeah.
Mold has more common sense not to eat that bread. So how bad is it?
So, and anybody can do that. Buy a loaf of store-bought bread in America, put it on your counter, don't touch it for a month, then open it up. No mold.
Canary King says, geez, bread is scary today. Guys, I don't know. Canary King must have put his kids to bed because he was quiet all this. Yeah. And this is he can't hear you. He's Jamie. you know it's bedtime. It's bedtime. So go to bed. So King didn't chat all this time, and then he's waking up, and now we're stretching the.
Yeah.
He's so okay. So let's wrap this up because, guys, this is what Patricia and I get up to regularly. We start talking about World War II, then we get into food, then we get back
I love it
into
that Kennedy is working with President Trump to make us healthy again
yeah.
because our
And
country people are getting sick.
so here's how you know when people hate you. Okay. When you say, let's make Americans healthy. And then uh, these people trot out everyone and their grandfather to say how this person is unqualified to point out what all of us can see, that kids are obese, cancer is on the rise, uh, diseases that never existed before suddenly showed up when a certain vaccine was mandatory. Okay, what everyone can see, they trot out everyone to demonize and to accuse this person of being unqualified to point out what everybody can see. That's how you know people hate you. And I'm talking about these politicians in Congress who had this kangaroo court of hearings trying to discredit all of Trump's appointees, all the way down, not up, all the way down to mainstream media that join forces with them to try to make these people look like quacks and charlatans. They hate you and they are evil. That's all I have to say about that.
And you're 100% right. 100%.
So when we sit here and try to show you the receipts, it's not because we have a vendetta against these people. It's because we've seen too much not to notice that these people just want us dead and gone. They want reasonable people to disappear. They want robots. They want automatons that they can tell how to think and what to think.
They
And
want
then
good little communists.
yes,
Do
yeah.
what your government tells you to.
Yeah, and then they start with kindergarten.
Yep.
They start with kindergarten to try to brainwash our kids, to try and tell our kids that the way they were born was a mistake. You know, I'm
That
going to
their
speak.
ancestors were horrible people.
That their ancestors were horrible people.
Horrible.
Okay, so that you're inherently evil. So the food lobby is powerful. Only Trump could have got RFK Jr. in. Yeah.
Yep.
Did I read the last chat by Canary King? RFK Jr. is fighting battles against formidable forces to improve our food system.
Oh.
So look,
I want them to ban the use of weed killer on crops. Go back to plowing the ground up. The gas has gotten low enough. You farmers can afford it now. You can plow the field and then disc it and then plant the plants.
Yeah.
There is a cornfield across the road from my house. And when he sprays that, you can go outside and you taste it in your mouth. It's that bad. And every time he sprays the crop, I don't know what he's spraying it with, but it stinks to high heaven. And I'm going, I don't want that corn in my house.
So
in fact, I'm going to go back to raising my own blooming food, so I know what's
that's what they're trying to force people to start doing. You know?
No, they don't want people growing their own food. In fact, in Michigan during COVID, that governor up there even banned people from buying seeds.
When they do things like this, look, guys, yes, this live stream is, we're going to nuke it. It's like once we go off the air, if you see a mushroom cloud somewhere on the horizon, it's this live stream. We're just going to nuke it, and you'll never see it again. Maybe we'll save it for when we're doing a look back on live streams that that we had to destroy. But whenever you see these people make these decisions, all right, and you don't ask yourself, why are they making these decisions?
Yeah,
What is
especially when
the
it doesn't make sense.
what is the second order effect of these decisions that they're making? If they ban this, what does it mean for this? And it turns out that them doing this thing here, right here, is going to destroy my ability, my kids' ability to do these things that the founding fathers fought for me to be able to do. And they're taking those rights away with a smile on their face and telling you how it is noble and right for you to comply with these tyrannical laws.
And how happy you should be that
And
we're doing this.
we're doing this and you're happy. You have to be happy because we want you to be happy. You are telling you to be happy in spite of the fact that this is going to destroy you and your family. Look, they're telling you who they are. They are revealing who they are.
They
And
ain't
look,
hiding it no more.
they hate you. They want you gone. And there's no negotiating with these people. There's none. They've shown their face.
It's like you go back to what's going on in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
And what was it Pelosi and Schumer and Obama had mentioned many times? Civil war.
Yeah.
That they don't know why it hasn't happened. And then you've got this goofy governor up there in Minnesota saying he wants to bring the National Guard out to shoot ICE, to go against ICE. And I said, well, I think he reconsidered doing that because if he did bring them out, all Trump had to do was federalize them and he would have lost all control of the National Guard.
Well, his friends in the media would immediately start trotting out charlatans claiming that there's a constitutional crisis.
Yep.
Look, we know the game that they're playing. Sorry, hold on, James. It's time to go to bed, okay? Go on to bed, okay? Go on.
This is where people have to know what's in the Constitution. They have to understand what each part of it is for.
Yeah.
There is specifics for the president. There is specifics for the House of Representatives,
for
the Senate, and for the judiciary.
Yeah.
And people don't realize this. The judiciary does fall under the executive.
Mm.
It's not Congress and the Senate.
Mm.
Because the president is over everything else that Congress and the Senate doesn't cover.
Mm.
Congress is to make the rules about taxes, federal taxes. Not state taxes, federal taxes. And the only federal tax I know of in America is the employment tax.
Mm.
And the states are the ones that do the property tax, the gas tax. They also do employment tax.
Yeah.
They tax you on your car every year. You buy the car and you pay a sales tax to the state.
Yeah.
And then every year you have to go down to the courthouse and get that little tag for your license plate, and you pay more taxes. And then we pay taxes on our utilities. We pay library tax. We pay school tax. And it's just taxed out the yin-yang. But only tax that the federal government collects is from employment.
So why, it's an uninformed, uneducated voting population.
Yep.
allows these things to happen.
And when you don't know how the government operates, you can get hoodwinked in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Somebody can come up and that's like they keep saying, oh, you don't want to vote for a Republican. They're going to take your welfare away from you. And I had some girl on welfare tell me she wouldn't vote for a Republican because they were going to take her welfare. And I turned around and looked at her and I said, yes, we want you off welfare. We want you earning your own living and accumulating your own wealth and not living in poverty for the rest of your life.
Yeah, the Democrats want.
They do two different campaigns every election cycle. The one they do with the blue collar workers is, oh, we're for the unions.
Mm-hmm.
The other one they do in the poverty inner cities and poorer areas is they'll go in and they'll preach about how Republicans want to take their food stamps, their welfare checks, and their free medical care and their housing away from them.
Yeah.
And they believe that.
Yep, because they don't do their own research.
And it's like I told that girl, I said, what are you going to do when you turn 35? Because by the time you turn 35, that baby you just had will be 18. And you won't get a welfare check anymore. You will not qualify for free housing anymore. You will be cut back to $24 a month in food stamps. And they're going to require you to go to work. But you ain't got no work skills. You don't have an education. You're 35 years old and you're entering the workforce for the first time in your life. What are you going to do? Work at McDonald's?
With no degree, with no education, with no skills, with no training.
No work ethics.
All you've done is take welfare.
Yep. That's it. And I've seen these women show up at the community college because they, under Obama, they were sending them down to the college to get educated. And what they found out when they got them down at the college is they couldn't do college level work.
Yeah.
They had to put them back in high school classes to teach them how to read, write, and do math. Those three simple things they could not do on a college level. And it doesn't take a whole lot on those three things to get into college. Any high school student graduating high school can pass the test and get in.
Yep.
And I was seeing these women at the college, and they were combative to everybody else around them. They were angry that they were having to go through this. And I said, you know, you cannot make an argument to me that a single mom needs to be convinced that she can't raise her kids on her own. You can't convince me of that. That a single mom is too ignorant to take care of her own children, when I know thousands of women who work and are single moms. But yet they're telling this one group over here, oh, you need our help. You need the free medical, you need the food stamps, you need the monthly check we write you, you need the free housing, you need all this free stuff because you're not capable of providing it for your own kids. That's the biggest put down to women that I've ever thought of.
Yeah.
That they're telling them that they're so ignorant that they can't take care of their own kids. And these women are lapping it up. And they'll tell you, I get $900 in food stamps a month. You go to Walmart, you'll know who they are because you can tell who they are from what's in their basket.
Yeah.
A working person will have a basket about 1/4 full. A welfare person will have it actually rounded over. And there'll be everything in that basket from candy to cookies to chips to pop to frozen pizzas, frozen dinners, frozen foods, all kinds of clothes. One year I was there and they were buying the biggest big screen TVs you'd ever seen in your life. And why were they doing that? Because Obama told them you can file an income tax return if you work 3 months out of the year on an internet blog. When that happened, we found out these families and single moms, and this is not a lie, were getting between $10,000 and $20,000 back on income tax returns that they hadn't even paid money into.
How is that possible?
Oh, it was under Obama. Sure was. They were driving brand new cars, buying big screen TVs. They were living high on the hog. I mean, by February, the end of February, every one of them had their tax returns filed. Every one of them. And they were getting buku bucks out of the federal government on income taxes and hadn't paid one dime into it. I think that's where the Social Security money went. Pelosi's greedy little hand just dipped in there and grabbed a bunch of it and said, we'll give it to these people.
That's crazy.
But I couldn't believe it. My daughter got so mad at her sister-in-law because she works, her husband doesn't, and they filed their income tax return and they got $20,000 back. The most we had ever gotten back before that was $2,000 with child credit. And here these people were getting $10,000 to $20,000. $20,000? You were getting $20,000?
I know, like, it's crazy hearing that because I'm thinking of all the tax returns that I got and I'm like, 10,000. Like, how? You know? Oh, jeez. Canary King chimes in. He says Larry Holmes, the boxing world champion's mother, was promised free stuff to go on welfare on the condition that she breaks up with her husband. It broke up their family. His mom became a single mom.
Yep.
When you read Tom Sowell's take on the welfare situation, it's heartbreaking because for a lot of people, they hear me say what I'm about to say. They're like, you don't know what you're saying. You're not American. You don't know what you're saying. You're not compassionate. The welfare system has destroyed the Black community, has destroyed the nuclear family in poor neighborhoods in the United States.
Yeah. And then there's the ones that take well advantage of it. They play the system. A woman with four kids.
Go to bed. I'm sorry about that. No. Go to bed. Go to bed. I'm trying to be professional in front of my audience, but now you're James. Go to bed now. Now. Go on. Go to bed. You know, so
a woman with 4 kids divorced her husband. They lived in a $500,000 home. She didn't move out of the home, and neither did he. And she got to go on welfare.
Hmm.
Still living with the children's father. He's still working a full-time job, bringing home buku bucks.
And they're officially divorced,
They're divorced
officially, and then they're still
officially. Still living
they're
together.
still living like a couple. Look,
Yes.
look, when
And
you
they got a monthly check for each kid. They got $900 in food stamps. They got free medical care for the kids. She got a stipend for rent for her and the kids staying in her husband's house.
aren't they supposed to to prove that the man isn't in the picture, like he's moved out or something? Isn't that something that's part of the
They
process
changed
for
that.
they changed it?
They
Okay.
changed it.
Canary King continues. Michael Jackson's mom refused to break up with her husband when he lost his job, and she didn't qualify for socialist welfare. Ironically, out of desperation, they started the band that made billions.
Yep.
So instead of cooperating with the state to destroy your family, why don't you just trust God and start a business?
Yep. Or get your kids to sing on a stage.
Yeah. Canary King says, but not everyone can see through the welfare scam. Well, you like I said, people will hear what we're saying and they'll have different excuses for why what we're talking about it doesn't make sense. They will say
Oh,
that
they are so tuned in to
yeah.
welfare that they can tell you if they get a part-time job exactly how much money they can make before they're cut off. And they will refuse to take a full-time position or even a raise because they'll lose their welfare.
Yeah. So this is the
They work
state.
that scam like you would. It's a scam. They work it like all get out. Oh, I can't do that. I'd lose my welfare.
Hmm.
And I looked at it and I said, well, when you turn 35, come back and tell me that again. Because you ain't going to get no welfare then.
All right. Canary King. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me. Canary King says actually she was a deeply devout Christian, referring to Michael
Yes.
Jackson's mom. Yeah, she was.
Yes.
Um, look, um, look, we've gone on for almost 3 hours now, and
We're good.
look, um, I wish we had more of a crowd, to kind of spice up the conversation and
Yep.
kind of round out what we're saying, because it's great when you sit down and watch Patricia and I and Canary King going at it and talking about these things. It's a lot more fun when we have a rounded out perspective from the audience and we're able to kind of have more of a variety on what's going on out there. So this is always fun for me. Like I'm chilling here and I'm talking to you guys and I enjoy it thoroughly. Okay, we're missing a few of the regulars. Intergalactic Wrangler isn't in the chat today, so maybe
Yes, I
he's
noticed.
is he hunting? Is he out hunting deer?
Oh, dear
Maybe.
Susan is in. He's
You know,
bow hunting, isn't he?
maybe because he's not here now
He's
because
out
he's
there acting like he's Geronimo. Arrow. Yeah.
it's very likely. So usually we have a bunch of us out here chatting and we're going to make the Saturday thing irregular. So now here's the new schedule. Last week we said, hey, the schedule is um new videos out on Tuesdays, live streams on Wednesdays, then new videos out on Thursdays, and then live streams on Fridays. Yay, we got it all figured out. And then
Switched it over to
we
Saturday.
we switched it over to Saturday for last weekend, and then this week uh we've looked at a few things, and we're like, we need to let the new videos breathe before we do a live stream, um taking the Q&As and talking about the videos. So the new schedule is we're going to be shifting our release time to Mondays and Thursdays. So
Right.
Mondays we release a new video, let the video breathe for 2 days, do a live stream on Wednesday, or and then release a new video on Thursday, and then do the next live stream on Saturday night. So
I
what? So
miss the family band things like the Bee Gees and the Jackson 5
oh,
and the Partridge Family.
and then you had what were they called? The what were they called? The Osbournes.
Yeah.
The Osbournes. Yeah. So like,
Yep.
it used to be a thing.
I miss
Yeah.
good bands.
Yeah.
The new generations have really screwed up rock and roll.
Yeah. All right, guys. We are going to simply rip the band-aid. Look out for the mushroom cloud because this live stream is going to get nuked. Okay. But let me know in the comment section of the main video or any other video, not this one. Let us know what you think of what we just. Well, I'm not talking to the. Okay, yeah, there's the audience on the backup channel. The backup channel gets to keep this video, okay?
Right.
So if you want to watch this, you can always go over to the backup channel to rewatch this video. If you're watching this on the backup channel, okay, just let us know your thoughts on everything we've discussed in the
Now I'm
comment
gonna have to
section.
go subscribe to the backup channel.
So guys, please subscribe to the backup channel. We want to have a successful YouTube experience this year. And last year we were bleeding subscribers, and we figured out why. We turned it around, and we're trying to go the other way. So right now the subscriber count is going back up. It's slowly going back up, but it's going
What
back up.
is the name of the backup channel?
Let me confirm. I think it's let me just confirm that it's let me just make sure that I have the right shoot. Where's this thing? Oh, I want to make sure I have the right handle. So it's Real Crossroads Live. It's a very all right, I'm just gonna I'm going to paste the link to the main channel. Let's see. Let me copy the link address and paste it here. It's real. So those of you who are watching, this is the backup channel. Okay. So if you want to subscribe, do that there. The handle, if you're trying to search for it on YouTube, just put this in the search bar, Real Crossroads Live. If you're watching on any other platform, Kick, Twitch, backup channel, the backup channel, if you're watching on the backup channel, head on over to Crossroads IRL. I'm going to just type that in, Crossroads IRL. Okay, that is the main channel. And then you can subscribe on all our platforms. We need your help. Okay, we need your help. Those of you who who have been supporting with your views, Canary King, Intergalactic Wrangler, Mackheimler. We have a bunch of other people who are here occasionally, and I can't call all of you, by heart. It's going to take a while. I thank you guys for all the support you guys gave us last year, and entering this year we have a bunch of you still supporting when you can view. You get into the chat, you encourage us. It's almost like every time we think, okay, maybe they don't need us anymore, maybe they want to go somewhere else to watch content, we get you guys encouraging us and letting us know that that we're important to you and that you want us to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you so much for watching. That is encouraging. And we also thank Tony. All right, Tony joined the membership. We have other people. Intergalactic Wrangler joined the membership during the last live stream we had last weekend. I mean, those things are an encouragement, and I want to thank you so much for being so supportive that way. Canary is also being supportive by switching over and subscribing to the backup channel. So thank you, Canary for being that supportive. I value everything you guys do, and look, we're just going to continue pressing on, and hopefully one day when we're like 1 million subscribers, we're gonna say, okay, we know all of you are, we know all of you believe that you're like the main event, but here are the OGs. These are the people who were there from day one. Okay, and all of you guys are gonna have a special place uh in my heart, and you're always going to get called out. Okay, so whether you send a super chat, whether you send a super thank, whether you're a member or anything, I'm going to see your handle and I'm going to call you out and say, hey, this person has been here from day one, and we're going to always honor that. Thank you so much for all that you do. So I just spent the last few seconds or minutes just being very grateful to you guys, because it matters a whole lot. You don't know how much it matters. I've done live streams where no one was watching. I've done live streams where no one was watching.
Hey, I've talked to myself for years.
So to have you guys just watch and respond and chat, it is a gift. And I want to say I'm always going to be grateful for all that you do. Thank you so much. And Patricia, thank you, because I'm going to say this publicly. Look, those long comments that you would send, and I'm like, who's this woman? And she's just making sense. I'm like, yes, I said that. Yes. Oh, so that's when it happened. And she gives me like a lecture on stuff that I said, but I didn't know the actual details. That was a blessing. And then getting in the email and continuing the conversation, and eventually now you're essentially sharing the screen with me. It is a blessing. And
it is.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And guys, if you're watching, anytime you're up and we're on, please just let Patricia know how much you appreciate her and love her. Okay, so so we are wrapping this up. So look out for the mushroom cloud. This isn't going to be on the main channel. If you want to continue watching it, it's going to be on the backup channel. Thank you all so much, and we'll catch you on the next one. God bless you. Patricia, I want to say bye.
Bye, y'all.